as it relates to me and Florida State and what happened there, they certainly reached out. I was hesitant to have any conversations. I've not talked to any other schools that have ever reached out to me. I've said no every single time that Louisville's my home and this is a place I love. Things occur along the way that maybe get you to rethink some things. Florida State was very aggressive. They have a great product to sell. It's an amazing university, top 20 academically, top 20 athletically. Their leadership's in sync with a new board chair who I can relate to with a private equity background, a president that came from Harvard. I'm close with David Coburn, the outgoing athletic director, and Michael Alford, the incoming athletic director who ran Seminole Boosters. He was at Central Michigan. We're both Adidas schools. Got to meet he and Laura, terrific people. Athletics it's clear where athletics' role is in the campus vision at Florida State. There's $200 million going into football alone, $100 million into an indoor facility, 82 million's raised, another 100 going into stadium enhancements, improvements, likened to what we've done at Cardinal Stadium and with Populous, who I'm very close with, and would have planned that project out. And then certainly you can see Learfield, though proud Learfield Cup standings, they're going to be probably in the top 10 this year after winning the soccer national championship just a week ago on the women's side, and very competitive in other sports. Big focus on women's sports like we have here, which is terrific. So I think as that went on, I certainly talked to him. You can see why there were some things that were interesting or flattering to consider, but I think as it really came down to it, I took the high road. I went to Neely, talked to her that night or afternoon on the 3rd. Per my contract, I wanted to take the high road, as I have in everything I've done here. Told her that there was a great deal of interest from Florida State, but I'm not moving forward any discussion, negotiation, anything, that my contract prohibits that, and I would need some type of clearance because they are an ACC school to have any conversation. And I had a copy of my contract that I delivered to her and pointed out the clauses in my contract that I thought might be in conflict so that she was aware and could share that with Mary Nixon, our board chair, and anybody else who was willing to listen. She noted she called me the next day, and I've never heard from her since. On Sunday, I did receive a call after I sat with our management team to prepare for the bowl prep. So I went into the office. We got them ready. We got organized for the bowl on Sunday, and shortly thereafter received a call from Michael Wade Smith saying that a group had met that morning, was going to reconvene that evening, and said he'd have a draft of some type of release because I requested a legal document, not a word of mouth. And I would see a draft that night or in the morning. I got a call the next day around 4 o'clock or so, and was presented with a draft less than an hour before a Board of Trustees meeting, which would need a legal review in proper time, which I could not provide because my attorney was not prepared for a 4 o'clock, but early in the morning draft. And so that's why I think there was one of the reasons there were no action, but I later realized there was no action because there was a different agenda item going on related to Neely's resignation. I was unaware of that, didn't learn of that until I was going to bed Wednesday night. So on Wednesday, per my contract language, after the release, if you will, the contract amendment or addendum was approved by the board, I immediately sent a copy of my resignation to overnight, per the language, while I overnighted, to Neely with a copy to Angela Curry, our general counsel. Did not hear from anyone at the university or the board during that window of time. And on Friday, I overnight received a letter acknowledging receipt of my resignation and a voicemail from Mary Nixon later that day on Friday. So that's kind of the process. Wednesday night, I stepped back, as most know, from the Florida State opportunity. Did not go any further in the process. I think that quiet period that I felt was in my contract to sit back and not further discussions gave Lori and I a lot of time to reflect with our kids about where we were and the notion of going to Florida State, the notion of staying in athletics versus business. I had 2 standing offers to leave and go to the business world that are pretty enticing, that are still out there. And I was just trying to rethink, like, where am I, write down the pros and cons, and just reflect on where I am and frankly, my love for Louisville. and told Florida State it wasn't for me. But at the same time, based on where I was here, provided my resignation, decided to step back, and felt like maybe in my role as a fan and a donor, I could have some positive impact on this university without receiving a salary. And I'll do that from the stands. I'll do that as a continued donor. But I think that's the hard part is I'm going to really miss the people and miss the opportunity to engage with the fans and provide a great product. And I love hearing from all the former student athletes that have called back, from Javion Hawkins all the way through Mason King, whoever it is, field hockey players, to know that's what I really enjoyed, was having an impact on them, and I have. And I think my family has. So it's a neat thing, and that's probably the rewarding part, and that's the part I love about this place, is it is a communal group. I know it. I was born and raised in it. I still love it, and will continue to. So when we play basketball tonight, I'll be there. Lori and I'll be there. And when we go to Columbus to play volleyball on Thursday, I'll be there too. Danny knows that why I wasn't there this past weekend, but why I'll be there Thursday.